One of Roblox's most legendary developers was banned off of Roblox for preying on multiple young girls. Figures such as Nathrix have been trying to bury the truth for years, alongside many other high-profile developers in his circle. The worst part about this is that this developer continues to operate on Roblox under a secret alias despite being terminated for almost 2 years. I've had to deal with legal threats, stalking, and doxing, all as an effort to suppress this information from coming out. Today, I am determined to reveal the full story behind Ripull, once celebrated as one of Roblox's greatest developers, to shed light why he was ultimately terminated off the platform, leaving many questions rather than answers. The year is 2008. An 11-year-old kid named Kevin just found a new site called Roblox.com. When signing up, he put his username in his Ripull and hit create account. Little did he know that one action would result in him becoming a millionaire down the line, along with him leaving behind a wake of victims in the aftermath. But before we get to that point, Ripull started by creating some games on Roblox, but one of them would become a staple experience of old Roblox. This game was called Roblox Derby, a game where you'd crash into other cars and destroy them. Ripull learned a lot from this game, but most importantly, he began learning how to program. After seeing the success from this game, he decided to make a sequel to it, which became much more popular. In late 2014 though, now a decade ago, Ripull released his most successful game to date, this being Ripull Minigames. This game put him on the map. He achieved over 200 million visits and was one of the very first modern minigames on Roblox, basically inventing the genre. Ripull was featured in the 2015 Egg Hunt the next year and worked directly with Roblox on it, and his game by the community was considered the biggest highlight of that event. For the next 2 years, with all of this growth, Ripull consistently updated his minigames with different types of content, and eventually he created his own Discord community. During these 2 years, Ripull came into contact with his very first victim, this being in 2017. To protect the victim's identity, we'll refer to them as X. According to what I've seen, X was 13 to 14 years old while dating Ripull, who was 20 to 21 at the time. This relationship went on for a year until 2018. The only reason I am talking about X is because it adds important context for information later in this video. This relationship was covered up all the way until 2021. But going back to 2018 though, after X broke up with Ripull, leaving everything behind, Ripull channeled his energy into a project he started with X a few months prior called Revive. This project was the most advanced survival game on Roblox, nearly an exact clone of Rust. The most surprising thing about this game is that it was almost entirely a solo project, with only one other developer working on the very first iteration of the game. That developer's name is CleverSource, who was 13 years old at the time. We'll talk about him just a little bit later. This project though took 6 to 7 months to finally get a working testable version, and what was created was a true masterpiece. Ripull decides his survival game is finally ready for the public to playtest, and while all that is going on, a 15-year-old girl named Baydox decided to join his server. She likes playing Rust, and she wants to partake in these playtests. Before we get into Baydox's allegations, I'm required to talk about something that Baydox did after she got groomed by Ripull. Did you help participate in the extortion of Ripull?
Partially.
Did you help dox or swat Ripull?
No, I did not help dox or swat him, because I knew, one, that's being taken way too far considering the fact that he had his younger sister and his younger brother in the household.
Ripull in late 2021 was extorted for multiple high-value Roblox limiteds. He was being blackmailed over content you'll see later in this video. Baydox was not the person who blackmailed him, she was paid though. Ripull and other sources claim he was swatted, doxed, and his family was harassed by people that extorted him. Baydox alleges she had no part in that and she simply was paid to provide the DMs to extort Ripull. He also claims the reason why he submitted to this blackmail was because he could easily get the limit his back as he had contacts with Roblox administrators, and that him submitting to the blackmail isn't a sign of guilt. Why did you help extort Ripull?
Well, after being put through so much trauma and grooming for the 2 years that I was with him, getting contacted by those people, it just seemed like a little bit of revenge because I didn't have much power and I just kind of wanted to get back in some sort of way.
I in no way support any form of doxing, swatting, harassment, or extortion. I will say though, I feel zero sympathy towards Ripull either, only his family. And by the end of this, I doubt you will either. Legal disclaimer before we get into Baydox's allegations, these are allegations. Most of these Discord screenshots you're about to see have been found within the last month, and they are still on Discord as of this very moment. They have all been logged and recorded appropriately.
When I first met Ripull, I was 15 years old. It was about September 2018. I met him on Discord. It was around the time that Rovive first got released, and I had gotten a message from my friends kind of telling me that, hey, there's a Roblox Rust game. And since I didn't have a computer that could handle Rust yet, I thought that was cool, and I wanted to join. So I messaged him wanting to be put on the wait list, and that's where it started. It just went from messaging here and there, talking about how the game worked and all, to just steadily increasing over the time. Honestly, there was no official asking out or anything. It just happened and it kept progressing.
Do you know when you guys first started dating?
Honestly, I'd say maybe about 3-4 months into it. Yeah, I'd say so. That's when it started really picking up.
After dating, Baydox officially became a developer for both Rovive and Ripull minigames. What did you do while being with Ripull, like game development wise?
I was officially considered the art director and map builder.
Can you prove to me that you worked on Ripull minigames?
Yeah, most definitely. Here, join me on Ripull minigames.
Okay, I'm joining
Retry
right now. I'm in.
It's kind of bugged because look, other people are getting the badges.
Oh, yeah, meet Baydox. When do I get it? Oh, there we go, I met Baydox! This badge is on Ripull Minigames and states the exact title that she just said in the description. So how quickly did it take for Ripull to first learn your age?
Honestly, pretty quickly because he called me and he asked for me to show my ID. And once I showed him, it just didn't really matter.
What was his reaction to that?
Honestly, a little bit worried, but if he was so worried, I don't know why he kept talking to me and kept requesting things from me. But I was so young and immature at the time that I didn't really see a problem with it.
The age gap between Baydox and Ripull was 5 years 11 months, basically 6 years. If these topics offend you, skip to this timestamp. When did things start becoming sexual?
Honestly, I'd say maybe a couple months in, when I remember the one day he kept kind of asking like what shoes I had on. And so I'd like send him pictures of like the shoes that I was wearing. And then I kind of guessed and asked him if he had a
foot liker. And
he confirmed, and then after that, after I confirmed, he would ask for more. And that was kind of the baseline start.
When did he eventually send you nudes?
He didn't do it very much. Like he'd always like, he never wanted to, right? He'd just request them from me.
Did you ever send him photos?
Yeah. And on-call stuff, sort of things. He always had this thing where he would like pretend to be a baby, like making little baby like sounds into like goo goo gaga, but like really accentuated, serious baby sounds. He always talked about how he wanted to be like put in a diaper and babied by his mama. He'd always be talking about like me shitting, like poop come out of your bum, and show pics of poop and stuff like that. Also ordered this online. He'd always be messaging me, telling me how much like he'd be, you know.
Did he ever say that he liked you because you were younger?
Yes.
Okay.
He also liked like the size of my frame. He liked how small and thin I was, and really like emphasized how much he liked how small I was. There was even this one time where he sent me a message talking about how he was looking at his sister again and was thinking about my size. Me and his sister were the exact same age. 15. We were both 15. And he was looking at his sister and comparing our sizes.
I'm about to speedrun show you a ton of images where Ripull acknowledges the age of Baydox. In this image here, Ripull expresses concern about adding Baydox on Facebook, fearing that her mom will discover their relationship. The image that Ripull sent reveals Ripull's full legal name, his birthday, indicating he was 21 at the time, while dating Baydox, who was 15. Throughout Ripull's career, he has publicly used the name Kevin. This company used to be in the description of the Ripull group. Taking a look at its public tax records, you can see the exact name. Baydox in this image just turned 16 years old. Ripull states that she's finally old enough to get a job under her own consent. Baydox is from Canada. The legal age you need to get a job is 14 to 16 years old, depending on certain parts of Canada. Regardless, Ripull would have just turned 22 years old in this image, and he clearly references Baydox being a minor. Here's Baydox stating she's in year 10 and that she failed a year, meaning that she'd be either 16 to 17 years old. Baydox also sends a photo of herself behind some lockers, showcasing that she's in high school. Here's an image of Ripull stating that he can pass as a 16-year-old. Baydox responds back with 1610, then Ripull states no, 1622, referring to his age at the time. Then he jokingly states he's 16 years old and then says, let's do that. Here's Baydox saying she's doing year 10, but she should be in year 11, meaning she's 16. Here's Ripull directly telling Baydox to wait till she's 18 to move out. Okay, I'm legit out of breath, but there's a lot more images for later to also prove this. But these images prove that Ripull knew the age of Baydox very clearly. Also, for the people that are saying, how can you prove that the deleted user is Ripull? Well, here's the first image. You can see it on Discord, and then here's proving that it's Ripull. This is actually going to be pretty important later, but we've done it with every single screenshot you just witnessed and other ones that are also featured in this video, but I obviously can't show them all because it'd be way too long for this video. Okay, back to the interview.
Dealing with all that grooming, it really affected me on a psychological level, with every single night being that I was forced to be in a call with him 24/7. He'd wake me up in the middle of the night and threaten to kill himself. And since this was happening every night, I wasn't getting any sleep. And that was a huge factor when it came to my mental health. He also alienated me from my mom and my friends. Being 15 years old and dealing with all that, it dropped me into a really deep depression. Eventually got put on antidepressants to try and help me with that, but all in all, it just turned me into a zombie. There was one occasion where everything was just too much, and I was dealing with extreme anxiety and depression revolving around things that were happening, that I had a mental break, and I ended up shoving a needle through my hand right between my pointer finger and my index.
In this image here, you can see Ripull in the top left corner as Baydox is showing the hand she just impaled with a giant pin.
When I was on those antidepressants, they turned me into, honestly, like a zombie. Ripull really was super insistent on me taking these. He claimed that they made me nicer and more willing to do work. And I expressed to Ripull multiple times that I hated them. I wanted to go off them. I didn't feel right, but he really insisted. He would honestly manipulate me a little bit and guilt me into staying on them. Due to my depression becoming worse and the antidepressants really not helping me, and all this grooming that was happening really exacerbating all my stress with everything all combined, it made it really hard for me to focus on putting all my work into school, which is what any 15-year-old should only be focused on, is getting good grades and focusing on school. But all the grooming, depression, and manipulation that I was dealing with, it made it impossible. So I dropped out because I thought that maybe doing that allowed me to put more work in, which would make Ripull happier. I thought that I was the problem. I thought that maybe dropping out would allow me to put more into him while taking away from me.
What was the point that you realized the relationship was toxic and you just had to leave?
He was always talking about how when I turned 18, he wanted to fly me out to Ireland and have me go live with him out there. And getting later into the relationship, he kind of turned away from paying me my cut as much, because he told me that once I moved out to Ireland, that I wouldn't need to be paid anymore, and that if I wanted to do anything, if I wanted to go shopping, or if I wanted anything I wanted, as he was saying, that he would just let me use the business bank card. And that's when I realized that if I'm not getting paid and I'm out in Ireland, then he at any point could financially trap me into staying. If I ever wanted to leave, he could just not allow me because he'd be in control of the money. So I kind of just really snapped in. I was getting older, and I guess my brain was developing a little more, where I had that conscious just really telling me that you're not safe. You really need to get out.
What was the reason for the breakup?
I tried breaking up with him, honestly, a few times because I knew like that age gap. It was messed up. It was completely illegal. I was underage, and I really, really told him that. I was telling him as one of the main reasons for wanting to break up was that there were some age problems. Like this isn't normal. Like there's a huge age gap that isn't normal. This shouldn't be normal. Like we needed to break up, and he would just skim over that. He'd skim over that every single time and say like, what can we fix? We can fix this. We can fix this relationship. But he would never really acknowledge that age gap.
Ripull and Baydox officially broke up in 2020, but going back to 2019, some very noteworthy things happened, like an alleged instance that happened with the 13-year-old developer that worked with Ripull on Rovive.
There was this one time where I was in a group call with me, Ripull, and one of his developers who was 13 at the time. And Ripull was privately messaging me saying that he was masturbating in the call and that when he blinks 3 times, that means he had finished. And he even stated that the developer, once again, was 13. All of his talking was making it hard for him to finish. And that developer was talking about some of Rovive's systems and everything that he was going to help with, and Ripull was beating his meat at the same time in the call.
We'll get back to Baydox a little later. 2019 marked the end of Rovive 1. In 2020, Ripull collaborated with Baydox on a game called Climb Time. This game was pretty much a Tower of Hell clone, with the only difference being it looks like a simulator, and he imported the pet system from Ripull minigames onto this game. Climb Time is currently the second biggest game Ripull has ever worked on. After Climb Time, Ripull decided to revisit Rovive, but this time he wanted to redo everything. See, Rovive on the front end was an amazing game, but the back end of the game was contained in one singular script. This made anything being added into the game a total nightmare. Ripull decided rather than just working on the game by himself, he'd start with a team of developers. Over the next year, the game morphed from something like Rust to a gun game like Arsenal, and as Ripull and his developers were getting closer and closer to finally releasing the game, something happened to Ripull that would change everything.
Alright, so today I'm going to be shedding some light on the Roblox developer named Ripull. The truth about him is he's actually a pedophile, and he did pay me 1 million in Roblox Limiteds to keep this silent. If I go to here, he did send me his red tango, as you can see. First thing what I'm going to do is I'll go into, you can see that this is the real Ripull in the server. As you can see, this is the real Ripull. If I send it to you, how am I guaranteed that I will be left alone? That's my biggest concerns. I care for not for limiteds as they hold no value, meaning he paid me. He said, I'm more concerned about the embarrassment. Some of the info you have on me will do some things to me, and I do care about me and my family's safety a lot.
The rest of this video, the blackmailer shows inappropriate DMs between Ripull and Baydox. These DMs were definitely out of context, but in general, it showed content that no adult should ever be sending to minors. After they got the limiteds, Ripull got their account terminated. As previously mentioned, Ripull claimed him sending the limiteds is not an inference of guilt. He claims he did this because he wanted to find a direct connection between the people blackmailing him. But I will say, the messages he was sending these people should also be taken into question. This video was floated around behind the scenes for years, and after this video took place, multiple trusted sources confirmed to me that Ripull was doxxed, swatted over and over again, and his family got harassed. Okay, did the doxing and swatting actually happen?
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely did. No, we got pictures, video call, and yeah, we saw it go down. Like his parents were heavily affected.
I had genuinely no clue that they would SWAT and dox him. I thought it was just going to be a little bit of, I don't know, sweet talking him and pressure him somehow into giving up his red tango by using like a little bit of the fact that, you know, he groomed me. But all in all, they took it to the extremes and, in my personal opinion, way too far. And I had no clue that any of that was going to happen. And at that point, when I found out that's what was happening, I didn't want any part of it. The swatting and doxing, if that was all truthful, I genuinely feel so sorry for his family. Like, I wouldn't wish any harm on them.
This incident made Ripull leave the entire Roblox community. He quit all the games he was working on, including Rovive 2. He also deleted his Twitter account, which had over 50,000 followers. The difference is, before it really wouldn't have mattered too much if Ripull quit, as he mostly worked on these games by himself. This time around, though, it wasn't just Ripull pouring his heart and soul into this game. Rather, a team of very talented developers. And they were getting closer and closer to a finished project. The developers were not happy about this news, and they went to social media to state that Ripull scammed them. I've talked to a lot of these developers, and the general consensus I've gathered is it's kind of mixed if they believe they were scammed or not. Some of these developers are very adamant, stating that they were promised payments and Ripull never delivered on them, while some were more understanding of what Ripull was going through at the time. It's also worth noting that none of these developers really knew the full story of what Ripull did to Baydox, with a lot of them being manipulated by lies, which we'll get to later. But something 4 months into 2022 would change everything.
Ripull, the creator of Ripull's minigames, has disappeared off Roblox. It's likely that he asked Roblox for his account to be deleted.
Right at the top, this player's account appears to have been terminated.
And immediately people were confused. Why would he do this and leave it all behind? Most surprisingly though, a lot of people were also happy he's gone, which created even more confusion to what happened.
On April 28th of 2022, Ripull was randomly banned off of Roblox. Ripull has been on the platform since 2010. His account had 20 million Robux worth of items on it. That is roughly 70,000 US dollars. At this time, there was a lot of speculation going on about this. There was 3 major theories though. The first one being he deleted his account because he was just done with Roblox. He had been putting up these cryptic statuses and tweets, he deleted his Twitter account, and he was saying he was only doing Roblox for the money. This theory didn't fully make sense since Ripull had 20 million Robux worth of Roblox limiteds on his account at the time. The next theory though is that he was banned for scamming his developers. Multiple developers of Rovive 2 came out of the woodwork to talk about them not getting paid. This was also strange because Roblox at this time didn't really interfere in situations like this. The third one is he was a predator. There were numerous cryptic tweets from well-respected community members like Binzy and Clone Trooper 1019. They didn't go much into detail, but their responses seemed a little out of line if it was just scamming. There's also a now deleted post from Clone Trooper 1019 that I literally can't even find on the internet that insisted he did much more than scam people. This tweet got the ball rolling, and eventually an account was created that started mass spreading the blackmailing video I showed earlier. Eventually it caught the wind of Parla, and something big was about to happen until one of Roblox's most widely disgraced predators intervened.
After the news reached the RTC about Ripull's ban, I saw a lot of discourse on the Ripull's predator allegations, and I was going to make a video basically covering it. However, I then got a message from Natty Forsyth, who was someone who's pretty close friends with Ripull, and he basically decided to threaten me with legal action on behalf of him if I were to actually cover the subject. And basically, it was because of what Natty Forsyth said that I never really ended up making the video on Ripull. She basically threatened me out of doing it.
Nathrix, a disgraced Roblox YouTuber who's widely considered a predator, intervened in numerous instances of people wanting to come out with information with the threat of litigation on Ripull's behalf. Nathrix wrote a post on Twitter at the time stating, yeah, after being swatted and harassed as long as he has, and he's also been extorted after being blackmailed, I don't blame the guy for wanting to move on. I'll probably make a defense video in the future, but right now, this is being settled in court with Roblox's lawyers. Ripull isn't a predator, nor did he scam anyone. His developers failed to complete work, then left to make their own successful game. Ripull never sued Roblox. Nathrix also completely lies about failing to complete work. Here's a video of Nathrix gambling away all of his money. The person he's talking to on call right here is Ripull. Here's a Ripull minigames tutorial he made. Here's Ripull's Roblox Wikia page where it says that he's friends with Nathrix. Here's a photo of Ripull's account right before it got deleted. You can actually see that Ripull is friends with 2 of his aliases. Here's a not safe for work photo that Nathrix sent me back in 2017 of Ripull's avatar that is covered in his own excrement and bodily fluid. He sent me this when I was 14 years old. I talked about this in my Nathrix video, but there's literally a whole different layer to it. It's strange when someone like Nathrix comes out of the woodwork to defend a literal predator like Ripull, and then gets so involved to say that anybody that talks about Ripull's allegations is gonna get sued. He literally did that to me this year, praying on Twitter for Ripull to sue me when I revealed I was gonna make this very video. He even said he was gonna make a video defending Ripull. You would have heard about this story in 2021 if it wasn't for Nathrix. Everything was about to come out, but people were too afraid of the threats of litigation Nathrix was saying on behalf of Ripull. So the next time you see Nathrix, make sure you congratulate him on successfully covering up one of Roblox's worst predators. Out of the 3 reasons that I stated earlier, the latter actually ended up being true. But an insane twist, Baydox had absolutely nothing to do with Roblox terminating his account. Rather, Victim X, who I talked about briefly at the very start of this video, got Ripull's account banned. It's widely known that Roblox rarely intervenes in cases of predators being on the platform. This can be viewed with a case that happened around the exact same time with someone by the name of Arnold Castillo. Arnold Castillo went by the name of Dr. Rofatnik on Roblox, and this person had multiple victims, a successful Roblox game, and Roblox was made aware aware about his activities by Ruben Sim. They banned Dr. O'Fatnik, but then shortly after unbanned him. The reason Arnold eventually got banned was because he met up with one of the minors he was grooming on Roblox, and he got sentenced to 15 years in prison this year. Roblox actually getting involved in a major developer being a predator at this time shows something very serious must have transpired between Victim X and Ripull all the way back in 2017.
Ripull told me after he got banned that the reason he was banned was because he was invited to some sort of Zoom call with Roblox people, and that he wasn't allowed to bring his lawyers to that conversation, and because of that, Roblox stopped replying to his inquiries and banned him because of that.
After Ripple's account deletion, he deleted his Discord server, his Discord account, and privated every form of public alias he had left. For all intensive purposes, he completely vanished. Due to occurrences of today and the last few months, I will address this with you formally for once and for all. Expect correspondence in your email. If you'd like to use another email, let me know. You won't need an attorney present. Ripull reopened his Twitter account on the 4th of July. This is Ripple's very first public message since he was terminated off of Roblox over 2 years ago now. And the first thing he sends is a legal sounding message to me of all people. The story of how it got to this point is quite insane, but it all started with a meme post about Harambe. You guys all know the Stairway to Heaven meme with Harambe and, you know. Well, when a new Roblox predator got exposed in May, Ruben Sim decided to remake that with a bunch of Roblox predators. He snuck Ripull into that, and not too many people knew exactly what he did. The blackmailing video started spreading in the comments section, and a former community manager named Highkey came out to clear the air on a few things. In this message, it states that Ripull wasn't a groomer, that he wasn't blackmailed, and that the person who made these accusations worked with extorters. I responded back with a snarky message stating Baydox was groomed by Ripull. Highkey responded back with provable, untrue lies that Ripull told him. And even Baydox responded back saying she was groomed. Just so you know, he deleted all of his tweets. This is what he said after finding out about this.
I thought I had the facts from the get-go. The rest of the Revive team I was consulting with, they also thought the same thing. And it sucks, because I'm on my way out the platform, and I thought this would be like the last nice thing I do, because I thought, you know, Ripull treated me right. Everyone around me who was around the situation in general had information lined up, and it just wasn't. And it really fucks me up.
After that altercation with Highkey, Nathrix eventually wrote a post on Twitter, the one that I showed earlier, where he was trying to once again suppress the topic from coming to light. Nathrix also clearly states in this message that he has no form of contact with Ripull. Keep that in mind as it'll be very important later. A few months go by, and a Roblox YouTuber makes a video talking about the disappearance of Ripull, and then he finds a thread between me and Highkey. He makes a video on that. That video reached over 40,000 views, and eventually some developers who were secretly friends with Ripull reached out to Baydox. They showed Baydox Ripple's new Discord account, and because of that, we were able to reassemble Ripple's digital footprint left behind the scenes since his ban. What we found was him talking to numerous high-profile developers and making games on Roblox. Before I get to that though, I should probably tell you about a Roblox developer who completely blew our cover and sent sensitive material directly over to Ripull. So our plan was we wanted to reach out to the developers that had contact with Ripull privately so that they were aware of Ripple's online activity. But we didn't want this information to get back to Ripull just yet, as we wanted to confront him directly, and we wanted to catch him in some lies. So the very first person we started with was a Roblox animator by the name of Future. We found that this person had very close contacts and mutuals with Ripull. We also saw on his Discord server that he was talking about Ripull being a predator. On this 40-minute call with Future, he admitted that Ripull was a predator, and said that we don't have to prove that to him.
I know you want like a definite answer, but I can just say I'm pretty much convinced. I will say I'm pretty much.
His only stipulation was the new secret identity we were sent that we thought was Ripull. We weren't fully able to prove it at that time.
Well, I don't know how you came to that conclusion, because there's nothing about him that says that he is Ripull.
I know it's right.
I mean, he's got the Peter Griffin and the South Park guy as a profile picture.
He kept asking over and over again, can you please prove this account being Ripull? And we couldn't. The call eventually ended, and we thought we really made no progress. But that all changed a few minutes later when he spammed the alternate account with slurs. Later, through Baydox's contact, we saw that he recorded this call, sent it directly to Ripull, and completely blew our cover.
Right, yeah, but it's not in my best interest to, you know, tell Ripull about your investigation.
He was talking to this alias as if it was Ripull, and in a statement he'd make after, he clarified that he knew the account was Ripull, but he didn't believe us based on the evidence we sent him. Meanwhile, he'd already called Ripull a predator multiple times on call with us, and said that we don't have to prove that to him. By the way, this guy does not speak for all the developers, you'll see later. After Future Rave leaked the call, almost right away, me and some friends started noticing strange Roblox accounts joining us in-game, asking about our affiliations with Ripull. Right away, we suspected something was up. The next day, I woke up to that tweet from Ripull, and a message from Ruben Sim asking if I had any information on Ripple's online activities. We had to formulate an entirely new plan, but one thing I wanted to try to do was see if I could bait any of these accounts out to join me on Roblox. So what I decided to do was get a ton of my YouTuber friends to join me on Ripull minigames, and almost right away we noticed strange accounts joining. The next morning, Parlo from all people got a message from Nathrix stating how he was quote-unquote shown that I was in-game with him, recording background footage for this video. Nathrix also directly states that he was the one who asked us a question, meaning he was in-game with us. What I find interesting is that this message proves two things. Nathrix is most likely still in contact with Ripull despite his tweet implying he isn't, and the fact that a known friend of Ripull admits that he was stalking us, despite all of us having joins off. You might be wondering though, what has Ripull been doing for the last 2 years since he's been banned? Well, let's start by going over some of my findings. The owner of the game Climb Time, which we talked about earlier, was owned by a group called Ripull. Before Ripple's termination, he transferred the ownership of this group to a placeholder account. At the time of writing this, the account has been seen online actively as this last month. My guess is that he's logging onto this account to possibly DevX, since Ripull hasn't done a single update on Climb Time since he was banned off the platform. His placeholder account isn't his main profile though. Through backtracking Ripple's digital footprint, we found an account called Orange Peel Milkshake. This account used to be friends with numerous developers of Rovive 2 and someone who was made a contributor on the Ripull group after his termination. Orange Peel Milkshake has no avatar items, but you can see this account is an active Roblox account that plays games, as it has badges, and taking a look at its inventory, you'll see decals of UI, meaning this account is used to develop. After finding this, I confirmed with numerous developers who had direct ties with Ripull. This is his current account, and he's using it to make games on Roblox. At the time of recording this, he has not published any games on this account, but he has helped work on games. Private and confidential. My full legal name. First contact regarding your campaign of harassment, doxing, slander, and liable to potential abetting of extortion. Oh, pretty ironic to say I'm the one doxing. He starts off the message with a blanket legal threat, stating that he'll have to go down criminal and civil litigation against me. He states that he has a legal counsel engaged in the situation, along with even more legal threats. Getting past all these legal threats, a major theme of these emails is that Ripple's constantly trying to downplay what he did with Baydox, and he shifts the blame away from what he did onto Baydox extorting him. Ripull states the police are investigating the situation, even though it happened over 3 years ago now. He states Baydox orchestrated this extortion. He accuses me of abetting the extortion, even though this is an entirely untrue claim with zero proof. He also uses very manipulative language, stating how I'm acting out of character, even though I haven't actively spoken to Ripull in over 4 years now. Ripull attaches 2 screenshots with this email, one being alleged evidence that Baydox has done this to other men, being a conversation he had with a developer named Dampada, along with Baydox trying to warn the extorters to quit, which I feel if anything that proves Baydox's side about not wanting Ripple's family to get swatted or harassed. I wrote back to Ripull saying, if you can provide proof that disproves any of my public or private statements, I will instantly retract them and issue an apology. What I've shared so far is accurate, but I'm open to being corrected. Ripull writes back with another email with even more manipulative language, stating he knows my heart is in a good place. And then on the next line, he literally threatens me once more with litigation, but then says he views me as a friend and doesn't want to do that, and has the audacity to state that I'm the one being manipulated. We exchanged over 11 different emails, so I'm just gonna summarize the most important topics. Ripull accuses Baydox multiple times of doing this to other men. He eventually gives a name, and Baydox did get in a relationship with this person.
When it came to our relationship, honestly, it was pretty solid and pretty normal. Both of us were of age. I feel like it was a pretty mutual fallout.
The only proof Ripull provided was the conversation he had with Dampada.
I didn't blackmail.
It's easy to levy an accusation, and then the onus falls on the accused to disprove it, which is a harder task to do. Throughout this video, Baydox provided a plethora of evidence. It goes without saying that the duty remains on Ripull to provide the evidence. Ripull states she told me she was 19 years old and that she was studying aviation in college with the intent of joining the Canadian Air Force in the future. But Baydox sent me numerous screenshots of conversations Ripull and her had, where she states very clearly to Ripull that she's a part of the Air Cadets, which range from 12 to 19 years old. The overarching themes of these emails is blame shifting, deflection, and minimalization of the situation. This is what Ruben's take was on this whole situation.
So what I think he's trying to signal here is that if Baydox goes to the police over him grooming her, she's going to get in trouble for extortion. And I think that this whole defense that he's setting up isn't meant to be for us or for the community. It's meant to be for her. It's meant to scare her away from getting justice for what he did to her. Let's see if he joins. He's online. I asked him if he's online. He said yeah.
Yep. What's this for? I think you know what this is for, Ripull. We're gonna bury this once and for all. Join the call so we can talk about this. Oh, he's scared, bro. He's literally scared. It's over. It's literally over.
An innocent person would join right away.
Oh my god, dude. He's such a coward.
I know. Why don't you just join so we don't have to wait for an hour for you to respond?
Even if Baydox extorted you, it wouldn't excuse you dating her when she was 15. So if you're serious about taking legal action, who's even representing you? I'm gonna find out sooner or later if you're serious. I want to ensure this situation is handled correctly because of what has happened to both myself and my family. Alright, I think I've heard enough.
Actually, let me do this.
Can you answer one question for me? How old was Baydox? I want a straight answer. You shouldn't be replying with anything other than 2 digits. You control right now or a 1-digit number.
Yeah. No. I bet he's not gonna type a fucking straightforward answer.
I was told she was 19 when I met her, but I have no idea of 100% confirming. Wait, can I say I have a way of confirming it? Should I just say that and then send the screenshot?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sending it. This is you, right? Oh my god, he's just blabbering again. Are those messages yours or not? It's a yes or no question. Perfect. Oh my goodness, perfect.
Do you wanna do this? Or should I say it to him?
You can say it to him. We have the Discord ID of that account, and it's the same ID as your old account. There's message history with Schlep, that account showing screenshots and links that came from you. We have absolute undeniable proof that those are your messages, and the only reason I asked to see if you'd lie about it. Oh my god. Oh my god. If that's what you believe, but those messages aren't from me.
I'm surprised he hasn't left yet. We really hooked them in.
What I'm gonna do at this point is escalate it to a criminal investigation. Oh my god, Ruben. Oh my god, what are the police gonna do when they realize you groomed a 15-year-old? Oh my goodness. Soon after this, Ruben leaves the group chat, and then it's just me and Ripull. Now, I have a go at him, but eventually he removes me from the group chat. The image that Ripull claimed was fake is not fake. Here is literally on Discord mobile, side-by-side proof that Ripull did this. He literally chose to die on the most pathetic, cowardly hill possible. In my entire time talking with him, he provided zero proof that Baydox was 19 years old. After this, almost every single developer that he was in contact with distanced himself from him. Baydox has filed a police report with their local police department with information included in this video. Despite all the major setbacks and developmental issues Baydox suffered because of Ripull's grooming, she's been able to successfully recover and move past all this. She's currently living on her own, living a happy life. Roblox in general has a very serious problem with predators, and this video should highlight to you that they are in every aspect of Roblox. It doesn't matter if you're a well-respected YouTuber or considered a legendary developer. They are everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're making millions of dollars or how many fans you have. These people are willing to throw away their career and everything they've been developing for years just for some sick rush, and in the process possibly destroy someone's life. If you ever feel that someone is inappropriately talking to you online, please don't hesitate to reach out to your parents. It might feel awkward, but your safety is so important.